It is up, it is back, it is gone, Marge!
See ya! Grand slam!
And it's done!
Look at this, he got him.
They did it again!
Reign reborn, reigns again!
This portion of Across the Association is brought to you by Rawlings. Rawlings is the official baseball of the American Association. This is Across the Association. What's up, everyone? I'm Alex Bastiavansky. It's great to see you again, and it is truly the most wonderful time of the year. I could stand here and sing you the entire song, but I'm going to spare you all the torture that would bring. So I'm just going to say September is here. And that means it is playoff time. And with 8 teams qualifying this year under the new playoff format, it promises to be one of the most exciting postseasons ever. Here's a look now at the matchups for the opening round. It's that time of year again. September is here, and the playoffs have arrived. The 2022 American Association stretch run may just go down as the most exciting in league history. With the new playoff structure that now sees 8 teams qualify for the postseason, the drama was off the charts, and the final combatants weren't determined until the last day of the regular season.
The stretch run for the playoffs was absolutely phenomenal down the stretch. We had a heated race, one that closed up very quick in the end of August and the beginning of September. Couldn't have been more excited about how it turned out and what transpired down the stretch, and our division champions being named.
Line drive, right field, and at the stroke of midnight, it's a walk-off homer for the Pork Chops.
It was also so fun to watch the teams pick their opponents for this playoff series. That was really cool, and it added a really neat new wrinkle and something to talk about throughout the season.
It was a first in professional baseball. The first place team from the East and West were able to choose their first round opponents within their division, setting the stage for division playoffs that will be intense, to say the least.
Well, there's so much, right? I mean, there's so much talent that's on display in the American Association day in and day out. There's so many great teams that we know are going to be participating in this playoffs. We know Kevin McGovern and the Fargo Moorhead Redhawks are going to be a force to contend with. Kevin McGovern, one of the best pitchers in the history of the league. The Kansas City Monarchs, the team that's on the other side of that West Division bracket, they are a team that's loaded with former major leaguers, extremely talented. They have a great lineup. Would be fun to watch those two teams at a potential West Division Finals. And then in the East, obviously, we had that thrilling 3-way race between Milwaukee, King County, and Chicago for the 1 seed. Now they've got to put that behind them and look ahead to this postseason.
So here's how things set up. First, in the East Division, as Carter mentioned, Chicago survived a vicious 3-team dogfight to clinch first place. And with their choice of opponent, they took the 2020 AAPB champions, the Milwaukee Milkmen. It's a rivalry that's quickly become one of the best in the association. And Dogs catcher Ryan Lidge says that it wasn't an easy decision.
It's like you put a target on your back almost, because now the Milkmen are like, oh, they're going to pick us. But, we're excited to just play. We could have picked any team, and it's going to be a hard-fought series no matter what. And the first thing that came to mind, honestly, was big rivalry. We've played some really intense games against them, so it should be a really fun series.
Gary South Shore Railcats manager Lamar Rogers obviously knows all the East Division teams well, and he offered his perspective on the Chicago Dogs.
Chicago's a very good team. I enjoyed their lefty pitchers, their ability to keep the batters off. I enjoyed, that their catcher Lidge does a good job. Chicago is a pretty well-balanced team. They've shown it all season, and they're once again like a team that we're trying to grow into. Guys who on a day in and day out have an understanding of who they are and what they can do.
Rogers mentioned Lidge, who led the Dogs this season with a .322 average and had an OPS of .907.
This Sunday.
Now Lidge bangs the ball high and far. This is deep into left field. Olin looks up. It's out of here. Bon voyage!
And of course, he provided his usual stellar defense. And on the mound, the Dogs are led by Jeff Kinley, one of the league's elite hurlers, who rang up a record of 8-3 with an ERA of 2.73. However, the Milwaukee Milkmen will provide a stiff challenge.
Milwaukee's a more interesting thing. I remember early on their pitching seemed to be very firm, and then it seemed like their hitting, the last time we played them, has really come a long way. So I know they have the leadoff Torres, I believe, leading the league in hitting, and I believe he was at second base, and then he moved him to center, and he definitely seems to be the spark plug of the team, and it seems like as he goes, they gotta go.
And 2019 American Association home run champion Keon Barnum is having another incredible year.
Bullard's pitch to Barnum. Swinging a high fly ball deep to right field. KB takes one out to right center.
He's near the top of the league in home runs and RBIs. Kane County will face off against Cleburne in the second East Division matchup. Cleburne is a squad all teams wanted to avoid, not just due to the travel headache the Texas squad presents, but also they've been hot.
Cleburne is a very interesting one. To me, they might be the dangerous team. Like if you were to say a wild card team, because they got hot late. They made some changes at the end, and they're playing good baseball. And those wild cards are always dangerous.
After a slow start to the campaign, the Railroaders were red hot down the stretch and finished 16-4 in their last 20 games, behind the big bat of outfielder Zach Narrier.
Here's the pitch. This one belted to left. This is going back, and Cleburne's gonna win it. Zach Narrier walks it off. Roaders win.
With Garrett Alexander racking up 125 strikeouts during the regular season, and Kevin Hilton sporting a stellar 10-3 record. Kane County will present a formidable challenge, however. The Cougars were in the hunt for first place out east all season long, led by potential AAPB Player of the Year, Jimmy Kerrigan.
Jimmy Kerrigan, an absolute missile to left field. Bon voyage!
Once again, a AAA type caliber player, definitely knows what he's doing. He's got an idea up at the plate. And then I also like the Franklin player as well, third baseman. I believe he was with Sioux City at the beginning of the season. I think he's a player to definitely watch. Once again, in AAA, he may have some major league time as well under him. Just guys who you can definitely tell on a day in and day out basis know what they're doing.
So there are your matchups for the East. The first teams to win 2 games will advance to face off in the East Division Championship, with Game 1 going on Wednesday evening in Milwaukee and Cleburne, respectively. The West Division has been pure insanity all season long, and in the final week, the madness continued. In fact, it wasn't until the final day of regular season play that the playoff picture became clear. Kansas City overtook Fargo Moorhead for first place on Monday and chose the Lincoln Salt Dogs as its first round opponent. Let's take a look at Lincoln. The Salt Dogs finished the regular season on a tear. They won 9 of their remaining 10 games, including a 10-1 shellacking of Sioux City on Monday to punch their ticket to the playoffs for the first time since 2017. Greg Minier racked up 116 strikeouts during the regular season to go along with a sparkling 2.48 ERA. And he anchors a pitching staff that's peaking at just the right time. Winnipeg Goldeyes broadcaster Steve Schuster knows just how dangerous these dogs can be.
Yeah, the Salt Dogs are a really tough team. They played the Goldeyes really tough at the beginning of the season. I think one guy you got to look out for is Justin Bird. He got off to a great start.
Bird sends a shot deep into right field. There's no doubt about this one. How far will it go?
Went down to Mexico, had a great run there, came back to the Salt Dogs a few weeks ago, but he's the type of guy that can do a little bit of everything. He can steal you a base, he can hit a home run, he plays really good defense in left field, and another guy that just, based on what we've seen over the last couple of years, he's going to do anything possible to try and help his team win a ball game, and I think he could be an X factor for the Salt Dogs.
But the Salt Dogs are facing Kansas City, the defending American Association champions. A team stacked with all-stars, led by the big bats of Jean Hernandez.
Hit out to it right field, drifting back at the warning track, at the wall. This ball is going to be gone. A grand slam home run.
And David Thompson. The Monarchs overtook Fargo Moorhead on the very last day of play to clinch first in the West.
Yeah, the Monarchs, again, an outstanding team. They've broken their own records for runs scored and home runs, but because pitching and defense is always at such a premium in the playoffs, I think if you have to pick one player to maybe be a key factor, it's going to be Matt Hall. He's probably going to set a league record by far for the lowest ERA by a starting pitcher in American Association history. He's been a terrific asset to the clubhouse, serving as a pitching coach here in the second half of the year, and he's the type of guy that can maybe go toe-to-toe with some of these other big offenses, whether it's like a Winnipeg or a Fargo, and can give the Monarchs a chance to win a ball game.
As a result of finishing second in the West, Fargo Moorhead gets to face Winnipeg in the opening round. The Canadian squad has been through the ringer the last few seasons, playing on the road in 2020 and most of last year due to COVID restrictions north of the border. But they got a boost from playing at home in 2022, and they have two 30 home run sluggers in David Washington and Max Murphy, and will be riding high.
Yeah, Winnipeg, I think, has had a really good year. They've had a really good second half, and I think they can maybe be a surprise team here, and especially with the fact that the Goldeyes are in the playoffs for the first time in 5 seasons. I think they're really excited to have this opportunity, especially with some of the guys that have been through the grind the last couple of years, living in Fargo and then living in Jackson. But one guy that I think you should maybe look out for is Kevin LaChance. He's a winning player. He's the type of guy that really thoroughly analyzes the game, is going to try and pick up any type of weakness in the opposition that you can exploit. And he won a couple of championships in the same year in 2019 in the Diamondbacks organization, and he's the type of guy that I think could do something that maybe doesn't show up in the box score that could help you win a playoff game.
But the Fargo Moorhead Redhawks will have something to prove. They led the West Division for most of the season until giving up first place to Kansas City on the very last day of regular season play. Simply put, the Redhawks are stacked. From Leobaldo Pena and Drew Ward.
Payoff pitch to Drew. Driven high and forget about it. This ball is heading out of North Dakota. Mars track it down. It's in the parking lot.
To the big bat of John Silviano, who smashed 23 dingers. There's tons of offense, not to mention a top-notch pitching staff.
Yeah, the Redhawks are a really well-balanced team. They're honestly the one playoff contender that hasn't really experienced any long-term adversity or any kind of extended losing streak this year, and that's a testament to what Chris Coast and his staff have done. I believe they lead the league with an incredible 19 one-run victories this year, but if you have to pick one guy that I think could be an X-factor for the Redhawks to maybe go all the way, you've got to look no further than Kevin McGovern, arguably the best pitcher in the history of the American Association, and has terrific postseason pedigree, winning the 2 championships in Winnipeg, including that winner-take-all Game 5 in short rest in 2016.
So there are your matchups in the West. Kansas City versus Lincoln. Fargo Moorhead against the Winnipeg Goldeyes. 2 best-of-3 series that kick off on Wednesday evening with the winners meeting up in the division championship. To watch games throughout the playoffs, you can tune into American Association Baseball TV. $14.99 gets you access to all games. Carter Woodhill will be keeping fans updated as well.
I'll be doing my thing, whip arounds every day following, of course, the day that we have games. Those will be on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Highlights from every game as usual, but we're really excited about High Leverage. But it's a free broadcast where it's basically kind of a red zone style show. We go from game to game, from ballpark to ballpark. We check in with the hometown broadcasters, and it's going to be really exciting on Wednesday night to do that for game 1 of the playoffs.
Whether you see it live in person or stream it online, just make sure you see it. There's nothing like American Association playoff baseball. The talent, the intensity, the drama of the game we love, played by the league's biggest stars. For AAPB Commissioner Joshua Schaub, the decision to go to 8 teams for the postseason this year brought the excitement to a whole new level.
We couldn't have been more excited about how the playoff format and the new format turned out. We had 10 out of our 12 teams activated in the last month, and down the stretch in September, we had races both at the top of the division and to get that last seed. It couldn't have been better how it turned out, and we look forward to continuing this in the future.
And for Carter Woodhill, trying to predict who might be this year's champion is a tall task.
I mean, this is the most exciting time of the year in the American Association, and this is the time of the year where what's best about our league is showcased, right? Because we play to win. We play for teams to win a title for their city. That's what they've been working toward all season long. And so when the players have the most pressure, the brightest lights, the biggest opportunity to make a name for themselves, that's when we see the absolute best baseball in our league. And with so many different teams in the playoffs now, it's going to be really, really thrilling, really exciting. You know, this is as good as it gets in the American Association for sure.
Swung on and belted high and deep to left. It's a walk-off grand slam.
Can't wait for things to get going. It's going to be unbelievable. And just a reminder for you to stay up to date on everything that's going on all throughout the postseason. Be sure to check out the league's official social media outlets. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. See you next week.